Welcome back to Football Heritage TV as this crazy transfer window continues to be just that, crazy. And have we got a couple of stories for you this morning or this afternoon or this evening, wherever you are in the world? Now, before we do, smash the like button. If you're new around here, subscribe. You can see there on the road to 20K, 19,549. Subscribe to get that to 20K and hit the notification bell so that you know when I am going live. Tottenham Hotspur, in the last 24 hours, a couple of reports have come out, which I find both intriguing, interesting, and one of which I can't quite believe. Now, we know the situation is going on with Morgan Gibbs-White. And off the back of that, we are seeing two reports of players that we could be getting. Now, as with always, we'll have a million transfer stories, a million links, a million videos every summer, and maybe only 4 or 5 of those sign. But I'm here to bring you, what are the internet talking about? What are the rumors? What are the reports? Let's see how valid we think they are. I'm not going to sit here and tell you that every single report is amazing and they're all going to sign and that all the ITKs are right. But these two really are very interesting. And the first one is this: Garnacho of Manchester United to Tottenham Hotspur. Now, many people, again, this would be a player that I think would go slap down the middle. Brilliant. Rubbish. And that's what people do. No one meets in the middle and says, yeah, good player, but, or yeah, I'd really like him, or rubbish or brilliant. That's how we judge footballers these days. So let's have a look. Just a quick search of the internet and you'll see there's a number of different reports linking Garnacho to Tottenham. I think a lot of people are putting 2 and 2 together. Some think they're getting 4. Some think they're getting 5. Some are probably getting 6. But is it that far-fetched? You've got a situation where Garnacho, who is homegrown, by the way, because he would have been club trained at Man United, he doesn't want to be there. Man U don't want him. But we already know that he's turned down a move to join Ronaldo in Saudi. And we also know that he wants to stay and ply his trade in the Premier League. Now, this is, before I read you the report, I'll give you my assessment of the player. I think that Garnacho is a very talented footballer. But questions of end product, questions of attitude. By the way, I don't know this. These are just what people have said. His attitude. Is he more bothered about social media and posting on X and Instagram? But talented footballer who doesn't quite fit what Ruben Amorim wants for his new look Man United team. But what I do know is when you watch him, he is unpredictable. He can beat a man. He can go on the outside. And for a player that has just turned 21 this month, I believe it was like the 1st of August, 1st of July, he has already got 50 goal contributions in a Man United shirt. Now, some will say, well, that's not brilliant. But we say that whilst judging players that are already at our club, that we say, oh, they're going to be really, really good. So swings and roundabouts, right? Give or take, give or take. Now, what I would say is this is a young man that's been, like every other player I judge at Manchester United, been a part of a shit show. It's been a bit of a calamity at United for a number of years. Yes, they've won a few trophies, but the squad harmony, how happy are the players, managers coming and going, new owners, this controversy, that controversy. But I do quite like Garnacho. Now, I'll set my stall early and say, I'm not sitting here and saying I really want Garnacho. But what I would say is if Garnacho did sign, I've not got a problem with it because, as I said on my show this morning, I think he's much better than Matisse Tell, who we just signed for 30 million plus the 10 million loan fee. We've just outlaid 40 million on Tell, who I don't think is as good as Garnacho. Certainly not at this stage in their career anyway. So let's have a look. And there's a number of different articles that I found, but I picked this one. This one was quite descriptive. So you'll see here it says 3 clubs, including Chelsea and Tottenham, set to make a move for United's Garnacho. Now, this is interesting because as we scroll down, this will tell you that the third team is Aston Villa. And you have to ask yourself, if Chelsea, if Tottenham, if Villa all want this player, surely those three clubs can't be wrong on him being a good player. So what do we know? We know this. Chelsea, Tottenham, and Aston Villa are all prepared to launch a bid for Man United winger Alejandro Garnacho. The Blues have already splashed the cash already on the likes of João Pedro, Liam Delap, and Jamie Gittins, whilst Tottenham have brought in major signings such as Kudus, Tell, and Danso. By the way, I'd just like to say I genuinely don't want to say that Tell and Danso are major signings. Villa, meanwhile, have remained quiet in the summer transfer window and have now been reported as one of the clubs eyeing Garnacho. Garnacho has reportedly turned down the opportunity to join Cristiano Ronaldo at Al Nassr earlier this week as he seeks a move to remain in the Premier League. The Argentine international is expected to be on the move over the next few weeks after falling out of favour under manager Ruben Amorim, but it is unclear whether any club will make a serious bid for him. Now, I mean, they didn't really need to say that because that's always going to be the case. That somebody needs to make a serious bid for these players. And you would think, though, that he's talented enough that somebody will snap him up and make him into a good player. Now, you can see there that this is off the back of Fabrizio Romano, who has said that Alejandro Garnacho's plan remains clear. He wants to continue in the Premier League this summer. His chapter at Man United is closed, but he wants to stay in the Premier League. Now, it goes on to say that Villa are understood to have registered their interest in the 21-year-old, but if Chelsea and Spurs do make offers, it may be hard for Unai Emery to attract the young winger who has shown glimpses of real quality at United in the past few years. And that's important. Come back to that. This is the really important bit. And it says both Marcus Rashford, by the way, who has been heavily linked in the last 24 hours with Liverpool, which is an interesting one. Both Rashford and Garnacho are both homegrown, which is great for the Premier League's profit and sustainability rules, as United try to make pure profit of the pair. Now, that is really important to note because Man United do need to buy players. Man United do need to buy players. Man United do need to sell players in order to facilitate buying players. They've got people like Garnacho, who isn't on massive wage. I believe he's on 50 grand, but they've got people like Anthony, Rashford, Sancho, Casemiro. These guys are on huge 200, 250, 300 plus £1,000 per week. And Man United can raise money by selling some of these homegrown players. Garnacho being one, Rashford being the other. But what does that mean for a club like Tottenham Hotspur? How good is Garnacho? Now, this is interesting because in this day and age, I think we judge players based off a number of different factors, don't we? We judge players off of a number of things, such as what do opposition fan bases say about their player? So Man United fans go, oh, no, Garnacho, no, don't want him, he's terrible, blah, blah. But maybe, just like all these other players, maybe with certain players, a new environment, a new beginning, a new chapter, a new club, a new manager, a new system, a new setup, new tactics, new belief, arm round the shoulder, you're my guy. Maybe, just maybe, they come into their own. Now, what I like about Garnacho is his ball carrying and his ability to beat a man. But will Spurs do it? Having just bought Tell? I'll be honest. If you had said to me either or, Garnacho's there, Tell's down here. Right now. That might change in the future. So I'm actually one of the people that was really gutted we signed Tell. Now, I'm happy for any Spurs player to prove me wrong. I'm happy for any Spurs player to come good and be a great player for the club. I can only say on what my opinion is right now. If my opinion moves because the players changed it, I'm happy with that. All right. I know everyone likes, you're in the mud, you're wrong. I'm happy with that. But what do we know about Garnacho? Well, let's have a little look, shall we? Let's have a look at his FB ref stats. Now, this is interesting because this is Garnacho against attacking midfielders and wingers. So hopefully you can see that there. Hopefully you can see there that there's a lot of green there in the right areas for me for a wide man. Shots, he's in the 96th percentile. So we know that he likes to get in the box and we know that he likes to get shots away. Now, maybe not as many goals has come of that as he would have liked or Man United would have liked. That's for a manager or a coach like Frank to develop. Now, I'm not saying it will be Spurs. Could be Chelsea, could be Villa. So either Maresca or Unai Emery or Frank, someone like that. Then you look at non-penalty expected goals, 80% percentile. Progressive carries, 95%. Right? Touches in the attacking penalty area, 95%. Progressive passes, 93%. Now, don't get me wrong. There's some red in there as well of areas that he would need to work on for sure. And as I've said, I know what happens is I put these videos together and people go, oh my God, you love Garnacho. No, I've not said that. I've not said that. I just think it's an interesting option because I think you might be able to get him at a good price. And if you said to me, you've got Garnacho this side, Kudus that side, Maddison there, and a striker, I think that looks a lot better than Tell, Brennan Johnson, and Maddison, right? So I just think it's an interesting one. It's an interesting option. Let me know your thoughts on Garnacho. So I'm going to talk about another player just for a couple of minutes. But Garnacho for me is an interesting one. By the way, I don't see it happening. I do see, though, that a decent club will come in for him. Maybe I'm wrong. I do think that a Newcastle, a Chelsea, a Villa, I do think someone will come in for him. And I know that Spurs fans we dismiss everyone, by the way. We think everyone's rubbish. And I bet the next player I'm going to talk about just for a few minutes, there are a number of links. Again, if you type in Harvey Elliott Spurs, there's a number of links now from all different sorts. Football 365, Football Talk, Yahoo Sports. There's a lot of people now that are saying that Tottenham Hotspur might turn their attention to Harvey Elliott just in case the Morgan Gibbs-White deal goes south. Now, I'm a huge admirer and a big fan of Harvey Elliott. I think that for a player that burst onto the scene at 16, got his move from Fulham at a very young age to Liverpool, has played something like 200 Premier League games, has won leagues, cups, England under 21. He's captained them. He was the player of the tournament for the Euro under 21s. He's homegrown. I think he can play in the 8. He can drift off the right. He can play in the 10. For me, I think this is a really good technical footballer. And I think he could probably be got at a good price. Now, I haven't seen too many reports saying this, but more and more are coming. So I'm going to ask you this. Would you take Harvey Elliott? Is he a good player? Are we going to turn our noses up at a player like Harvey Elliott now purely because we've been linked with Gibbs-White? I think he's a good footballer, Harvey Elliott. I really do think he's a good footballer. And I think a lot of people are dismissing players. And when you look at the state of our squad, I don't know why. So Garnacho, Harvey Elliott, Spurs are being linked with people. Does it mean it's going to happen? I'm not saying that in any way, shape or form. Let me know what your thoughts. I wouldn't be upset if we signed either of them. I'm also not saying they're my number one targets, just to make it clear, because I know that people will automatically respond with something silly. Let me know your thoughts. Thank you for watching the video. And as I always say, please hit the notification bell. Please smash the like button. Please subscribe and get this up to 20K. And thank you for all your support. And as always, come on, you Spurs.